We know that Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, is not good at her job. She's not good at keeping people safe in the United States. We've seen that with her ICE goons out there murdering people. And of course, she's not even actually locking up violent criminal immigrants. In many instances, she's just locking up American citizens. But you would think that at the very least, and of course, she's not taking care of disaster victims, which is also part of her job. FEMA announced this week they're just not going to have disaster response during the partial government shutdown. But you would think, at least in her office, right, that would be a place where you would be safe. You wouldn't have to worry about threats to your physical or mental health, right? Well, nope. In fact, the biggest threat that Kristi Noem poses here in the United States is apparently to her own employees who are now being exposed to asbestos fibers every day that they go into that office. So here's what's happening. The Department of Homeland Security is in a 170-year-old building. Obviously, Homeland Security is not that old. The building that it inhabits was actually originally St. Elizabeth's Government Hospital for the Insane, which honestly kind of fitting given what Kristi Noem has turned it into. I think it's gone back to being a government home for the insane, but it's 171 years old. And when she came into office, she decided whole place needs to be remodeled, redone, damn the expenses, tear it all down and build something new. But because it's a historical building, you can't just knock it down like Donald Trump does. You just have to gut it and redo the interior. But it's 171 years old, which means it's filled with asbestos. And workers in the Department of Homeland Security have not been warned about any of the potential deadly health effects that exposure to asbestos could have. In fact, most of them haven't even been told that those workers in full hazmat suits are removing asbestos. Here is what one DHS employee told Migrant Insider this week. It's surreal. You've got guys in full PPE taking out asbestos and then DHS staff in shirts and ties walking right by, breathing the same air. There's one small sign in a side entrance indicating the area is a health hazard. But if you come in the main way, which is where most people come in, you'd never know you're walking into a demolition zone with asbestos in the air. Another said, we're talking about cancer-causing dust in a federal workplace. People are scared, and they should be. And yes, they should be. As most people know, for over 2 decades, I worked at a law firm. One of the biggest cases they ever handled, of course, was asbestos. They still handle mesothelioma cases now. And it's devastating. It's incurable. It is a horrific, painful, slow way to die. And it doesn't have to be decades of exposure. These workers, their health is at risk. They are not being given protective gear. They're not being warned that they might want to go get their own protective gear. They're not being told of the health hazards. And of course, they're not allowed to work remotely because that was one of the things that Donald Trump ended on his first couple days in office. So they just have to keep showing up, being exposed to asbestos every day because Kristi Noem insisted that the whole building had to be remodeled, not once thinking or caring about the hazards that it poses, not just to her workers, but also to herself. I guess maybe that's why she's never in the building, because maybe she does understand the dangers and she doesn't want to be around it. Everybody else can, but not her. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.